husband and I were on our way to take finals and do our final papers. And we had the same grad class together when the man decided to hit us and change my entire life and eventually end his. We were just going to have fun with all of our kids. And we're at the beach for less than 15 minutes when tragic struck our family again. And we lost the life of another very brave soul. So what do we do? How do we do it? How do we deal with this thing called life, right? So I don't want to use my pastor for everything, but I am going to use him for one more thing. Shout out to New Mount Zion. Y'all need to go get y'all some church in your life. Go online, something. Get you some guide, get you some church. But I often text my pastor in the middle of the night. It can be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. He said, utilize me that way, so I do. I'll text him about anything. And, I recently texted him and just asked him, how do you feel broken? How do you begin to process and heal your spirit, right? Mm-hmm. Like, your body can be healed from trauma. How do you heal your spirit, right? I understand the mind. Right? We can talk about how to heal your mind, how to, different things, but how to heal your spirit. And it's funny because the things that he told me to heal my spirit are the exact same things that I would tell someone to heal their mind. Yeah, let's hear. So let's go. All right. First thing, he said writing. Okay, so let's just give this. I wrote this at 12:57 a.m. He responded with love at 5:35 a.m. So thank you, Pastor. Writing. He said writing, right? Journaling. Right? That includes journaling. Yeah. A lot of times that helps a lot of folks.
I do that.
A lot of times it does. It helps you?
Yeah. Music.
Ooh, music is a good one. Yeah. And music's not even on here.
Yeah. Good job. I do music therapy.
Yeah.
Like right after I found out my brother passed. And on the way back to, where was we, Davenport, Florida?
Yeah, we were in Davenport.
My nieces and nephews, they probably thought I was crazy because I was bumping music, and it was music that my brother would listen to. Mm-hmm. That was my therapy. Yeah. And that, kind of made me feel close to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You say music, and oh my goodness, the minute you said music, it popped in my head. So I also utilize music therapy as well, right? Uh-huh. I call on our ancestors a lot, and we'll talk about that on another show. But it is a real thing in Pan-Africanism, and we do call on our ancestors. When you are absent from the body, you're present with the Lord. However, the Lord is omnipresent. So where He is, our ancestors are also. That is one of the things that gave me complete solace, and pretty much the only thing that gives me any relief, right? So therefore, our ancestors are here as well, right? So if that is the case, then that means that they are present with us just like the Lord. So I used to do the same exact thing, right?
Right.
I would spend a lot of alone time in the car. And a lot of people didn't really understand that at first. They were like, oh my goodness, your kids are in the house and everything else, and they haven't seen you in so long. You're spending a long time in the car again. And I'm like, leave me alone. Let me wrap my mind around everything that's going on. Let me process this thing called life, right? Yeah, because it just hit me and changed my whole life. So in that, I would talk, and when I would talk to Juwan openly, just me and him in the car still, right? That was our favorite place to be, was the car.
Yeah, that's why we're going to say.
Yeah, he loved that car. So I would talk to him, and I would have his Apple Music, the music that he downloaded to his phone, playing in the background at the same time. And I would be crying or anything else, and then all of a sudden, a song would pop on. Like, it's not even a lot of R. Kelly on his phone at all, right? But all of a sudden, Dedicate My Life to You comes on when I'm talking about him losing his life, or just different songs I'll be feeling myself looking in the mirror, being like, am I cute today? And then, the little song Chocolate Legs will come on, and I'm like, I guess I am. Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. Because, that's what he would do, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's how. And so it was like connecting with he is an ancestor now. So connecting with the ancestor, connecting with your loved one, right?
Yeah.
And having them talk back to you. And that's okay. There's nothing crazy. I hate that word crazy, guys. Crazy about doing that, right? That's a very spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to do that. So music, thank you for saying that. Journaling, very, very, very important.
I think journaling is so important because it gets everything that's bouncing around in my head out.
Yeah.
Good.
And if you are scared to have somebody like look at it or whatever, if you're scared, somebody might look at it, burn it.
Right. And that's actually a release that I have done with clients in the past. Have them write a letter or an empty chair technique, right? Or imagining
I've done
that
it on the balloon.
On a balloon.
Like a message on a balloon.
And let it float away?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Balloons are always very therapeutic when you
Yeah.
let them off in the air.
Yeah.
I think we did that for his funeral.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So writing, music, all of those things. The next thing, therapy. Get yourself a couch and a chair. Somebody that you can depend on. Somebody that you can talk to. Preferably a culturally competent therapist, so you won't have to search for several. Sorry about that, but we are working on our game. So therapy is really important, and I just want to stop for that a second. The reason why it's really important is because it helps the person to normalize their feelings and understand that they are not the only ones going through this thing, and it's not just happening to them, right? But at the same time, affirming what is happening to them is happening to them. It's very important, and it can be a complete stress relief to talk to someone that is not in a judgmental place, right? Doesn't know anything about you, can't go back and spread lies or anything like that, rumors. It's HIPAA compliant, they can't say anything, those types of things, right? It's very, very powerful to do so, and unfortunately our community doesn't utilize that resource as much. We'll just take everything to God, and I always pause and say that is a wonderful thing to do. Take things to the Lord, please, but leave them there, because what happens is people go to the altar and then they pick it right back up and walk about the door, and then they see me later. That's the thing called anxiety. That's what we don't do. So when I say using God as an avoidance technique, that's what I mean. Not necessarily saying, oh, I'm just going to pray and it's not working. No, of course, pray. Please, pray more. That's the one thing that I know God does want us to do, right? However, don't use him as an avoidance technique.
Faith without works is dead.
Faith without works is dead. Good. Yes. I think I'm going to write an entire piece about that, but that's for another show. So the next thing on the list is loving family, right? And loving ourselves. So loving family, having that rally of support to come around you, choosing the folks and being careful of choosing those folks. The world is not your friend when you lose someone. Everyone wants to know what's going on. Everyone wants another story, a recount of the trauma. And the whole time you're asking someone what's going on, what happened? What is it?
People.
Yeah. And it's like a revisit, a reintroduction to the same trauma that someone just went through. So when someone goes through a traumatic situation, it's almost better to ask somebody else. Rather than to keep asking that person to recount their trauma.
Especially if for that purpose is
right. That's what I had to tell them. Do not call me.
Do not call me. Do not. Please don't. I mean, because it makes sense, right? It makes sense. We're re-traumatizing. We're re-triggering the same person that just went through that traumatic experience by saying, what happened?
Well, what's the purpose in asking?
Right.
Is it to benefit the person that's grieving or for you to know?
That's a really good one. Right.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Probably both. They want to know it all.
They want to know it all. That's okay. And it's good. It's good that folks want to help. That is nothing wrong with folks wanting to help. I want people to help, right? Mm-hmm. Like we said, the outpour of cry and support with the GoFundMe for my husband and for Amber's brother, Stefan. It was overwhelming, right?
Yeah. The
amount of just support and love that came from total and complete strangers, right? But it was very much needed. Loving thyself. Okay. So we can have a whole show on loving thyself, and we're not going to right now, but we don't prioritize ourselves. And for people that do not prioritize themselves, when tragedy strikes, we go into work mode. Those types of people, because I did it, go into work mode, right? We prioritize everybody else around us. So therefore, even in within work mode, right? So we're the ones that are doing the obituaries. We're the ones that are making sure everything is planned. We're the ones that are making sure everybody else is taken care of. But we are not paying attention to ourselves, our own emotions, and how we handle things, right? So paying attention to yourself is very, very important.
The burnout is real.
Oh my goodness, the burnout is real. And when you get burnt out, then the frustration, anger, and displaced anger comes with it.
Let me tell you what I was burnt out on.
Okay, what's up?
The chicken and the lunch meat.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know what it is about this stereotype of black people and chicken. We do love chicken, but everybody loves chicken.
But the lunch meat and the chicken.
So do you have any requests then? What would you like now?
Right.
Some casseroles.
I'll make you a
spaghetti, something.
Okay.
We like to eat in our family.
Yes, we love to eat. And lunch meat. Shout out to the lunch meat.
Nitrates.
Right.
Man.
All of that. The next one down on the list was praying. Right. And we've already talked about the power of prayer, the importance of prayer. And, prayer kind of relinquish your responsibility over things. If you're a control freak and you are praying, which is a good thing, it kind of helps to relinquish that control. And it's because it's the control or the, what I call it, the illusion of control.
Yeah, we're not gods.
No, we're not. We're not at all. So the illusion of control. So slowly numbing. Numbing is an important one. Allowing yourself to just feel all of your feelings and be present at the moment, whether that is numb or not. I will say with numbing, you need to be important and need to be very, very careful with not letting your pain stunt you. Not letting your pain stunt you is a very powerful thing. Knowing your emotions, sitting with your emotions, being with your emotions are one thing, but allowing that pain and that situation to now become your life is then stunting you for your future, right?
You're identifying yourself
as that situation. Yeah. No, and that's not.
That's not who you are.
No, that's not. That's not your purpose and why you're here on this earth. So trusting when you can. Trusting when you can is another one. A lot of times when we lose folks, we stop trusting. We stop trusting God. We stop trusting life. We stop trusting people. I remember when Juwan passed away and all of the people that were praying for him. We had people, pastors in Texas, and we had all kind of folks, right, that were just rallying cries. And I truly believed and had the faith that he was going to overcome the situation and God was going to heal him. God did heal him. He just healed him in a different way. But not the way I wanted, right? And not the way that I believe that I was told. So it took, and it's taking, let's say taking, right? Taking time for me to trust him again.
Yes.
Right? And what's funny is that all the things that everyone else tells me doesn't help. You know what helped me the other day? Kanye West. It is the most, like, I don't even deal with Kanye like that, right?
Yeah,
like a lot of folks, I'm trying to tell you, a lot of black folks pulled his card and was like, what are you doing? When he was talking about slavery and everything.